Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe and all the good stuff. I just thought I would read out some Reddit posts just because I think they're absolutely friggin' hilarious. And hope you like them. This is r/entitled parents. Posted by Woody_Woodvine. Both mother and father called the cops on me because I was a nice person and wouldn't give them my car. Okay, a little backstory. Where I live, there is a car show held in memory of someone in the town who died of brain cancer. All the proceeds go to cancer research. The show held at a raceway nearby where everyone is welcome and kids get in for free, while parents have to pay $2 to get in. While the people entering the car show are going to go around the track, pay a premiere. Now the story. I had entered my car into the show and paid extra for it to go around the car track during the time of the event. The car show part was just a few hours long, the warm-up before time trials, etc., where everyone entered could do up to 3 practicing laps to get used to the course. Now this is where the child came in. Before my practice leap, the child, entitled kid, said he liked my car, a 1997 Leyland Mini, and started asking me about it and how I got it, all the normal. My family, who was with me, said I should let him sit in it, and I agreed, but thought it could take a step further and let the kid sit in the passenger seat while I did my warm-up lap. That's really nice of him. I said to him I would let him go around the track with me on the account I had his parents' permission. Fair enough. When I heard that, his face lit up and went to get his parents. I thought all was normal until this happened. Oh Lord. I was waiting around for the kid and his parents showed up. I hadn't moved from the spot. I was doing some pre-checks on my car before I went out. 20 minutes had passed and I thought it was a little long for him to come back to give me an answer, but I thought I would wait just a little longer just in case he got lost. Next thing I know, another 20 minutes had passed, then another 20 minutes. I had waited for an hour for him to show back up and needed to get on the track. My car was ready half-hour ago, and I had already gotten permission from the race organizer to have a young passenger on for 1 lap of my practice run. I had gotten tired and started the car when the kid showed up with his parents, entitled parents. They instantly asked me if I was up to something. By the way, I just turned 18 at the time. I had my girlfriend with me at the racetrack, keeping my times. I told them I just wanted to give a kid a chance to see what it was like on the race, in a road race car, just like how someone let me when I was his age. After hearing that, they took a few steps back and started talking, but they took 10 minutes to do so. Tired of waiting, I told them it was my final call, either a yes or no. I need to get on track now. Entitled parents had me stink eye and finally said entitled kid could. I had him to get in and put the 5 points on. We headed for his first practice run. I told him to hold on. I don't want him to scream while I'm driving. He seemed to understand, but during the lap he did exact opposite. When it was over, I had a headache. I was trying to be nice and asked him if it was fun. He said he did and he wanted to do it again. I said from now on I had to be by myself as he started yelling at me and got out of the car, slamming the door behind him. Little brat. I had it at that point and just wanted to do my last 2 laps. Once they were over, we stopped for a quick break, and this is where everything went down. First up, I had entitled parents come up to me and yell me for not letting the kid do it again. I explained to them that technically I wasn't allowed and only got permission to do one lap with him. They were livid. Next thing I knew, that was the organizer said that to them that the kid could go around the track in a rental track car from his father, but it would cost $300. The entitled kid said no, and he wanted to go around in my car, but I said that he couldn't. Next thing I know, entitled parents, the father is yelling how it's a rip-off and he was wasting all his money on people who were going to die anyway. Holy shit. I lost it at this point and told them to leave. The organizer said what he said was fine. He don't need to make this work. I left the organizer after that to avoid more confrontation. Skip forward and half an hour. At the time the trials was about to start, I guess who came back? Entitled parents. Mother this time. Great. She said that she was sorry and wanted to talk. I said later, and she yelled about $400. I was offering $400 for my entire car. I told her no, and to get out of here. Next thing I know, the entitled parent rocks up and says $700 for the car. I said no, and that I have more money in the car that probably have in their banks. The father responded saying that sad rusty piece of shit is not worth more than $1,000, and that would be more from crushing it than selling it. I told them to leave as they were not like what would happen, and if they didn't get their way, I hopped in the car and drove off past them. Once the trails was over, I went to park in my spot to find my girlfriend grandfather being talked to by cops. Entitled parents were pointing at me. Two police officers. Oh my goodness, where am I? Two police officers came over and told me to turn off and get out of the vehicle. I did so and asked what was going on. Entitled parents called the cops claiming I stole their car. Oh my goodness. And touched entitled kid when I had him in the car. I told cops the car was in my name. I have the footage inside from a camera in my car and I use for studying my driving techniques. They asked if they could see the footage and I willingly showed them. They said I did nothing and had my parents bring down the proof of the sale of the car. The entitled parents still tried to screw me over until entitled parents' father hit by a bystander. The cops arrested him for assault and took the wife in as an accomplice. I haven't heard anything from them, but one of the officers from the incident are good friends who go to drag races, so at least something good came of this. Holy shit, man. Entitled parents or what? Jeez. Posted by you/the shy raccoon. Okay, so my mum is a self-practicing physician. She's a pediatric specialist and is the sweetest person. She was told me this story multiple times and I'm going to tell it to the internet. So here goes. On mobile, sorry for bad everything, grammar, spelling, etc. Cast, Mum, crazy lady, kid, police. Reception of my mum's office. Okay, so one day mum was going about her day as usual, just gave one of the stickers to the little girl that just had 2 shots and looked up to see the monstrosity of Karen walked into her presumably 3-year-old little girl's, leaves the crazy lady, goes up to the receptions and says, crazy lady, I would like my child to see the doctor now. Receptionist, do you have an appointment? She says this in the nicest calming voice my mum heard. She hires good people. Crazy lady, no. Receptionist, I'm sorry, but we don't have any more slots today. Do you think you can come back in tomorrow? Crazy lady, no, you racial slur. Receptionist is Mexican, and keep in mind that the 3 children were feet away from her. My daughter needs to be seen now. Mom walks over and asks, is there a problem here? Crazy lady, yes, there is. This, again, racial slur, my God, won't give me a slot at this office right now. This is ridiculous. Why can't I be seen now? I have money. My mum, as you can see, there are many other people that have appointments. Then crazy lady cut my mum off and started to curse at the people sitting down at my mum, telling us that these people were going to go to jail anyway, so she shouldn't care about them. She is throwing a huge temper tantrum. Mum, get out of my office now. Crazy lady, what are you going to do? Mum, receptionist, please call the police. Receptionist, yes, doctor. Crazy lady stays up until the police arrive, and who knows what reason, but when they do, the crazy lady, this woman assaulted my daughter. My mum is short and she is not very imposing at all. The crazy lady's daughter didn't look hurt, and she had no idea what crazy lady thought it would be a good idea to say that. My mum has cameras in the waiting room, and the officers just gave the officers some footage of what happened. Police, ma'am, you are being ticketed for disturbing the police. Crazy lady, what? Police, if you don't get out of this business immediately, you will be charged with trespassing, which would earn you a jail sentence. The lady tried to run out, but the officer grabbed her and gave her a ticket. She took it and got out of there as fast as possible. So no extreme karma, but I wanted to tell the story to the internet. That's actually a pretty good story. Oh my God. Karen wants to take my mask because it's rude. Of course she does. Karen always does. So I was walking to a nearby shop, which was in the central of a city. As I was walking to the shop, a woman came up to me and said, "Hey, you, where do you think you are going?" I just backed off, and I just want to quickly get some supplies and go home. The Karen stood there and her eyebrows tilted 45 degrees inwards. Talk to me. And I just said, "Excuse me, please leave me alone." And I went to walk off, but she was not having it. Then Karen grabbed my shoulder. "Take off that disgusting gangster mask." Oh my Lord. Just turned around and told her that it was because of the virus and that I needed it to stay safe. Then Karen said, "You're lying. Give it to me now." And I'm just freaking out because she was getting very close to me and not social distancing. In fear, I said, "Why do you want it? This mask has..." Karen, "Because it's rude." "How?" Karen, "Shut up and give it to me now, or I will call the police." Yep, she actually wanted to call the police because I was wearing a mask. But the things was, like a lot of people in the area didn't want to wear masks for some reason. I don't know why, but Karen thought it was a gangster or something. Me, "Yeah, go ahead and call the police." Karen calls the police and they arrive. Karen, "This man is wearing a gangster mask and I do not like it." Oh Lord, give me strength. Police officer, "That's a mask for the virus." At this point, Karen lost for ideas, so she said, "But he assaulted me. He was hurting me." Police officer, "Is this true?" Me, "No way. I'm just going to the..." "Lies. He was harassing me and kicked me." Oh my God, the lies. Police officer, all right, we'll check the cameras over there." Points to the wall. Karen stood there in horror as we watched the camera screens. When the footage shows Karen was grabbing me, Karen immediately burst out of the door and ran away. The police officer went after her and arrested her for harassing and disturbing the peace. I came home in a happy mood. Another Karen down. God damn it. I swear these Karens, man, they're freaking everywhere. Mum wants headphones because her son is such a good kid. M is me, K is kid, EP is entitled parent. Sorry in advance for the grammar, it's not good. So about a year ago, I was on holiday in London, was seeing one of my friends, but needed to use the tube. So I hopped onto there and the carriage was, well, pretty much empty. 2 stops later, entitled parent and kid gets on. They get on, sit about 5 seats away from me. I glanced up and seen kid whispering to the mum. Then suddenly kid and entitled parent appears in front of me. Entitled parent says, "My son really likes your headphones. Can we have them?" Me, no, but they do come from Lidl's and you can get them about Lidl's, and they're about £10. Entitled mother, but he's a good kid. He really doing really well in school. Me, no, sorry, I'm not giving them to you. Please leave me alone. Entitled kid and entitled parent goes and sits back down. About 5 minutes later, I notice my stop is 1 stop away. So I take my headphones, unplug them from my phone whilst waiting to see kid is up from his seat and runs around, and suddenly hear trip and falls onto his knees. I look over entitled parent and she is on the phone. So I put my headphones back in and go over to entitled kid to make sure that he is okay. I turn around to see entitled mum put in my headphones in her handbag. Me, hey, those are mine. Give them back. My son deserves them. He's a really good kid. I notice this is my stop, so I run over to entitled parent, take my headphones and get entitled parent toys to snatch them back, but missing. As she tries to get off as well, the door is already closing. She makes an obscene gesture to me and the train sets to move. Yeah, that was my encounter with an entitled parent. Oh Lord. They really, really are insane. You know that, right? Like, these people are nuts.